Have you ever wondered, how do I know when it's time to move? Well, in this episode, we're actually going to explore exactly that.
Moving forward with the DekkerTeam. Moving forward together with the DekkerTeam.
We've created for you over 403 episodes of the Inside Track where we share ideas, tools, techniques, and thoughts, insights, insider tips, things that we need to know so that we can make amazing decisions along the way of life, both at home and absolutely anywhere. So these shows are available to you on the go, at home, or just listening on CHRI or tuning into our YouTube channel. So today I have an amazing guest with me, back with me and Silas is going to help us explore, because in a previous episode, the previous part, we talked about why homeownership in Canada is so fantastic. Mm-hmm. And now we transitioned to quickly knowing when it was time to sell that home. Mm-hmm. So what happened, Silas?
Well, Yetta, the decision to sell a home that you have bought, I would say it's a roller coaster moment when you have to transition and sell this home. But so many things come into play. Are you moving into a new place for a job? Have you gotten a transfer from one area to another? All this, have you lost family? But for us, quickly, if I don't take a lot of time, we had to move. And for us, it was an adventurous call to walk with God into a new place. And God had called us to go and serve him in Kenya.
In Kenya.
So
you can't really own a home in Canada when you're living in Kenya.
Well, you could, because those were options we looked at. Possibly leave the house and rent it out and let it still build equity and earn rent out of it. But dynamics and logistics of the move sometimes are different. And again, we were very early in our family. We didn't have much investment yet. And so it was imperative that we sell the house.
And take the equity that had grown.
Equity that had grown and move to what God was calling us into. And so that's what we did. And you guys were great in helping us do that again to move to Kenya.
Right. So as you think about the decision to move back to Kenya, you considered keeping some equity in a house here.
Yes.
And you decided there hadn't been enough time for enough to be built to make it worthwhile or able to really pull enough out to help you in your move.
Yes. The wisest decision that I still know I would have made then, and this is in case I had enough savings, enough assets, enough equity, was to be able to leave the house and rent it out. And I know that was a blunder on my side, but again, I don't regret it because that was my situation at that time. And as I said, we were a new family, not much equity, not much investment in terms of assets to be able to move and leave this house. So we had to sell it so that we could get that equity on top of it to do what we needed to do.
Right. So what was the tough part for you of selling? What made it because it sounds like it was the right decision. Yes. It was clear. You knew you had a mission in Kenya. Mm-hmm. You knew you wanted to take the money with you. And yet what was difficult?
The difficulty is walking into the unknown. That is very difficult, especially in this dimension when you are moving under the direction of God, where it is a God-led calling.
Right.
You don't know what is there for you in the next phase of life, but because you believe and your heart resonates that God has called you to do it, you respond to that. This was not a walk of thinking within a month and saying, "Oh, we are moving to Kenya," and we moved. This was a thought that took us over 3 years to think about it, to pray about it, to talk, to seek counsel. But as much as we were seeking counsel and talking to people and praying, but when God talks to you, it is you whom God has talked to that knows and clearly has heard. Every other person can give you their idea, and it is great to seek counsel so that you can sieve and hear again, is God really talking? But at the end of the day, it is you that God talked to you. Will you respond? Will you obey? And so for us, it was 3 years of tough decisions. Do we sell? Do we do what? And where we were moving was not of great life as in Canada. So that was another perspective of making those decisions. We would not have similar opportunities to own a home in Kenya as we had in Canada.
And why would it not be similar opportunities? So that's an interesting factor. If we're moving, whether it's from Canada to Kenya or whether I'm relocating for my job, but I'm going to a city potentially that the real estate's much higher and I can't own there, right? Mm-hmm. That would be a very similar situation. Mm-hmm. So what was that about for you to be able to give up the idea possibly of owning a home?
As I said, for us, moving was a call of God. But the reason that it would make it difficult, because in Kenya, the interest rates are very high. They are unreasonably high. When you talk about mortgaging a house at 13-14% interest rate, actually, just recently, the government had capped that interest rate. The interest rate could go as far as 19%. For me, from the economics, it is like you've sold your life. You'll never achieve 100% ownership. You'll probably be like paying rent, and the bank will own the property forever. And so those dynamics are not the same. Number two is that in Kenya, real estate, the profession, is not yet synchronized into the system as in here. We have brokers, but they're brokers who want to get a kill. It is not controlled. It is so a broker can take 40% of what is and it is so the realities. And number two, the money value in Kenya, how much are you able to get in Kenya? The lifestyle, what are you paid considerate to what you earn here for the same service? Those are huge factors.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes the whole idea of hearing a message and then being able to respond to it are two very different things, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes.
Like you've got to seek counsel, you've got to check out all the options, you've got to think long term and think long and hard before you make a decision.
It is.
Because the decision is, as I think you've said, irreversible.
Yes.
Once you've made it, it's now difficult for you to leave Kenya again and come back to Canada to buy another home. You're going to start over again.
You are going to start over again.
And it's not always fun to start over again. So what we're encouraging is just think big term, long term before you make a decision. Get great counsel. And we're excited to be able to do that with you. So thanks for growing alongside the Decker team. Thrilled to be your partners and passionate about helping you thrive at home and at life.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward.